we have professionals from all over the world. Especially, we have a lot of professionals outside EU. And now, if they want to compete with EU citizens, they need to really prove themselves. How they can secure those jobs they really want to do and work for the companies they want to in Europe, because at the end interview is to find the best person for the position for the company, and the company find the best person no matter where they're from. But we have to say that there are certain restrictions and they need to be aware of them, and how they can create this extra contribution, this extra interest that will make the recruiter or make the HR person lean towards them.
There's a few things I'd say on that, Kristof. I'm going to even borrow some, because we've all picked up learnings from other people as well, and they're not all famous people like Robinson and so on. These are, well, they're famous people in the local community, and if I hear something that's really useful, I remember, and I give the person credit for actually saying it. And the JobNet program has been brilliant for me, even in the last 5 years or so, because it's made such a difference to people's lives. But you meet some fantastic people, great connections, and you hear some great things, some great learning. The thing about, and I touched on this earlier on, about the similarity between finding a client and finding a job. Keep that in your mind first of all, okay? Somebody has a problem. You've got to work out what that problem is and do your research. Talking to people is the best way of finding out what the problem is. That actually, I've done the job before, work in the company, have worked in the company, learn about the company. What is the problem that they actually have? And that's, you won't always get that from the job spec. What is the real problem that they have? And then you have to try to be the solution. So what do I need to say? What message do I need to project and get across that shows that I'm the solution to this problem? Because there's going to be lots of people competing for the same roles. And it isn't, most cases, it doesn't boil down to your qualification. Qualification is important. But there's two things that the company want to know. First of all, can the person do the job? Lots of times you can do the job without a qualification. So remember that. So if you can do the job, the second thing you need to find out, what is the person like? They're the only two things you want to know. Can you do the job, and what do you like? Okay, you might be able to do the job, but will you be, an innovative, inspiring, enthusiastic worker that's committed to the company, and you get on with the rest of the people in the organization? That's brilliant. We'll take that person. They may not have the qualification. If you have the qualification, that's a bonus. But we know you can do the job. We know you get on well here. So you're trying to be that solution. And part of that solution is to understand what the requirements for the job really is. The other thing is, when you're trying to apply for a job, or you're going for an interview, I know you've done a lot of work on this yourself. And I'm borrowing this from a fellow called Richie Smith, by the way. You probably don't remember Richie Smith. On the CV and the application, you've got to do a good application. And keep this in mind. It's not about what you write on your CV and your cover letter. It's about what they want to read. A lot of people get hooked up on putting down the achievements, the proud achievements in their lives may not be relevant. You've got to put down what they want to read, because they're not going to waste time reading a CV or cover letter unless you're telling them exactly what they want to hear. They haven't got time to read all the other stuff. So that means you have to sometimes leave stuff off that you're very proud of because it's not relevant. You're only distracting from the situation at hand. And then if you extend that even to the interview situation, then it's the same thing. Not about what you want to say, it's about what they want to hear. So give them what they want to hear as best you can, based on all your research. And there's a great thing, actually, a lot of interviews now are based around competency-based questions and using the STAR technique. One thing I'd say on the STAR technique is try use the STAR technique, because it's a situation, tasks, actions, and results. Okay, it'll keep your answers structured. We outlined the problem that existed, the task that we're going to be in terms of the implications for you and the particular problem that existed at the time. The actions that you took is really important. It's all about the actions that you took, not we took. You took, or you coordinated or managed. And then the or then is the results, how it all worked out in the end. And I'd always say encourage the star plus. The plus being, do you know what, Kristof? If it was to happen again, I think I would do it slightly differently. That went well, but I think it would have went better if I'd done this. So you show that there's a continuous improvement culture, even within your mindset, and you're always open to doing things better and learning from your experience. And that's a great to have in any company, because this day and age, every company is trying to be innovative and do things better on a continuous basis. If you don't continuously improve, you don't stand still, you go backwards. So companies love people like that in the organization. The other great thing about the using the star stories and star technique, you produce about 2 or 3 star stories, anticipated the questions they're likely to ask you. You'll have a fair idea from the from the job spec, what questions are likely to ask you. The rest of the information you get from the research, talking to people. And then you build it to 2 or 3 star stories about different scenarios that they may ask you about, and be a little bit creative. So bring all your skills into those stories and give them exactly what they want to hear. People have gone for interviews, for example, and they prepared, and there was 1 or 2 really strong areas they knew they were strong in, and they were never asked a question. So the thing about the star stories, if you can put all your strengths into the star stories, even if they don't ask you the question, you can weave it into your story so it doesn't get overlooked. And one tip I'll give, if you're at an interview and you see them ticking the boxes as they're going down through the questions, okay, as you do here, and they ask you, are going through one of your star stories and answering one of the competency-based questions, and then they skip down to the end, they're ticking the boxes down here. That means they are ticking boxes for questions they haven't even asked you yet, because you're getting all the quality stuff in. And this is all preparation. This takes time. This takes commitment. It's a job in itself, finding a job. So that the only purpose of the CV is to get you an interview. It won't get you the job, but it can eliminate you from the job. If you get called for interview, you're now in the shortlist. If you're in the shortlist, you're up against other people that are going to try as hard as you. So you've got to have your star stories, your research, and give them exactly what they want to hear. And it's you mentioned earlier on, you've got to be relaxed and be able to manage the interview process well, which can be intimidating for people. But all you can do is give it your best shot. So give yourself the best preparation, be ready for the interview, and have your sort of your stories and your responses pretty much ready. You'll have to sort of tweak and improvise, and then you've got the best chance of getting a job. That's the best way of getting the job. The other thing is your network. Your network will tell you about opportunities, will refer you for jobs, but will give you invaluable information that will help you to excel at the application process and the interview process. There's lots of ways people will help. And there's one I want to say, I just heard this today actually for the first time. It was for the first time. People think about obstacles in their personal life, their career, whatever, and they think of people being the problem. People are the solutions. Everywhere you see a problem, don't assume that people are the problems. They might be part of the problem, but they're not the problem. People are the solutions. And if you can engage with people and you can network with people and build relationships, and you collaborate with them, you can unlock the solutions and the potential, and you'll open up lots of different opportunities for yourselves.
Absolutely. And when you said something about tell them what they need to hear, and that's so valuable tip. And this actually reminds me of a situation when I had one client. There was 400 candidates on one disposition, and I will emphasize preparation. So we looked over the HR recruiter LinkedIn, and she just mentioned what she needs. She said all the people are applying in the same way, telling the same answers. There's no originality. So that was like, we need to be original, approach this completely from different point of view. We did it. We created something extra, how she can contribute. And instead of 3 levels interview, she had only 2. And the HR told her later, we wanted you before we start the interview process. And that is the thing that you want to do. Also, when you said that people feel sometimes intimidated during the interview process, and that's how we can help them. They need to answer the questions. So the body knows how to answer an interview, and that's increasing their confidence.
Well, what did you think about this video? Feel free to join our LinkedIn group and comment below the video. Hopefully I will see you soon. Thank you.